welcome. You are listening to The Longest One Night Stand with Bobby.
And the Stone Genius.
Oh.
So, okay, the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to do this as a crossover show. So, so the reason being, hey, everyone.
Hey.
Everyone have a good Christmas, a happy Hanukkah, and whatever else is in season this time of the season.
Yes.
So, hope everyone enjoyed. Welcome. So, okay. So, on my other show, or some of you, this show, because this is going to be both places, I've had a co-host or a guest, which seemed to do a lot better. I mean, I can ramble on, as we all know, but it seemed to do better with it was just whatever. So I did a show last night because someone from the High IQ Society, they were talking about good and evil. And so I did a show about it. And then because I have kind of odd views, I think, on the subject, that I wanted to involve you in this. So welcome.
Okay.
So you're kind of like
So
a
welcome
guest.
to your show.
Yeah, you're a guest on your own show. And we may be able to do a review of Cran Organics' new gummy.
Oh, right.
Because you did tart blackberry,
Yes.
I believe is what it's called.
Yes.
So real quick, first of all, how was the taste?
It tasted good.
So you don't like a cannabis MJ taste?
No.
So did it have any of
I
that?
do not recall. I don't think it did because I would have known. I mean,
Yeah.
so no, it did not taste
And
like that at all.
So the reason, and I have given a review before and talked about these, but I don't do well with gummies. I mean, I don't do anything.
It's not that you don't do well. You don't do
I don't do anything.
Right.
They just, so my metabolism evidently is so high that it processes and gets out of my system before I ever get a chance to enjoy it. So all I'm doing is wasting money.
Yes.
So I actually took 30 milligrams, which would be 3 last week, and I may have felt the edge taken off a little bit because I hadn't done anything else prior to that. So,
Right.
but so you said that you felt it, but it was just kind of nondescript. You were like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it very often. So, you'll probably don't even remember what it felt like at the beginning, but it feels like I'm like going back and forth. Like it's hazy and then it's clear. I mean, that's like what the feeling is.
so I will tell you the thing that I've noticed is that you sat still more.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of times you'll get up and even during a show, I need to go do this in the kitchen real quick, and you'll get up and you'll do it. Well, this you like during commercial, you got up because we're forced to watch the commercials in the show that we're watching. But when you came, so I noticed you didn't seem to be fidgety because sometimes you get restless legs in the evening, and I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, that's stuff that just like the first time they were like, "What do you feel?" You're like, "Nothing. I feel nothing." I mean,
right. But sometimes it's the absence, and then you have to be pointed out, like, "Oh, well."
You don't, well, that makes sense. I was sitting there and.
Yeah, because for whatever reason lately, you're like you haven't wanted to sit still in the evening. It'll be like you want to stand up. You're always moving your leg, and so I noticed. So, I mean that's good.
I mean, yeah, and
if someone had muscle spasms or something like that, I could see where this could be good.
And see, then that's the problem with me is that the next step is like puts me out. I mean, that's too much.
Now,
so.
I will say that Bobby has committed to try to, because it's just 2. It is hard when you cut one in half, do that.
Right,
You're thinking are you getting 50%? I mean, so it's just easier to go, okay, I'm doing one that should have a full 10 milligrams and then see. But yes, we have noticed that in the past, not with anything from Cran Organics. This is their first foray into gummies, which will soon be available statewide in Missouri. So they are very close to coming to market. So they have not hit market yet. But so this is the first time I've had them. But in the past, it has been like 10. You don't really notice much, but then 20, you're like, hey, I think I'm maybe traveling through space right now.
I can't talk.
I know. So, but that's not, so we wanted to get that out of the way. what I talked about last night. So I'm going to read the exact post from
Okay.
the International Haiku Society.
Okay.
And then I want to talk to you. So here's the post. If God is all-powerful, all-knowing, perfect in every way, and the author of all things, who is responsible for sin and evil in the world? So here's my thing when I look at something like that. It says, is God all-powerful, all-knowing, perfect in every way, and the author of all things? You have to 100% agree with that statement before you can even
sure. There's
discuss.
people that don't believe that.
I don't. I mean, I do believe that there's a God. And I could be. So here's the thing. I think that every human is wrong, no matter what they say about God. Like, unless they're doing some big I don't even know. I mean, so one of the things I discussed last night, and you know this, that because of the way that I was raised, and my mom and my dad both worked within churches. When I was born, my grandfather was the minister. My grandmother was like the organist. My mother was director of children's ministry, and my dad was the business administrator. It sounds almost like the mafia. Now that I have actually said that out loud, it's like they were almost the church mafia, which I guess would be Scientology. Yes. I hope I don't. That's just my opinion, so I don't get in trouble with that.
Well, obviously, it's your opinion.
I don't want Tom Cruise
facts.
coming after me. Yeah. That was him giving me a karate chop.
Right.
Although I was going to say he'd have a stunt person do it, but Tom Cruise would not have a stunt person.
He would not.
He would do it himself. Yeah. So I don't know if I agree with that whole premise. Like one of my all-knowing. You can create something and still not know everything about it. And so I just don't think that he would be that he's that in tune with everyone's little, because we have kids. And some of the stuff they tell us, and we're just like, oh my gosh. And do you think God would because do you think God would really be like, oh, yeah, I really want to hear this. Pour it on me. And I know that that's the good outlook, and that's what everyone wants, a benevolent. So here, first of all, I'm going to mention my point of view again. I know that you've been quiet, and you're just staring at me. I mean, we've had all these talks. I know. So my point of view is I was raised in a Christian household, so I believe Jesus is the Son of God. I believe in a God. I believe in an afterlife. Then we get fuzzy from there, because heaven and hell, the whole thing, I think that the afterlife is either going to be amazing or it's going to be nothing. I can't even tell you. I couldn't even describe what it'd be like, because I would be so horribly wrong. It wouldn't, but everyone would be.
Right. I mean, no one knows unless they've been there.
Right. The thought of hell, and this ties into the whole evil thing, I just find eternal damnation a little hard to swallow. I mean, if there's a few people in the history of mankind that would deserve maybe eternal damnation, you got to remember eternal damnation would be like billions of years. I'm just saying.
Right, but
I mean, why
being
would
the devil's advocate, you could just believe in a better ending? So why? I mean, why do you get to believe that and not believe that there's a bad or something?
I'm not 100% sure that I do.
Right, okay.
I mean, so here's my whole crux. When people would be like, well, why wouldn't you just not believe it? Because it seems like that would be easier, because I could not believe in God. Then I have to worry about heaven and hell. And a lot of other things could just fall into place, or depending on your outlook, out of place. But I do, because there's no way I meet you and we have our life without there being something. And so what I'm going to attribute it to is how I was brought up: Jesus, God, Christianity. Because if I was Jewish, like all my friends, then I would be Old Testament God,
right?
Jewish faith. But I also, and I've mentioned this, if an alien arrived and said, hey, you guys met my dad, Jesus, he was here a couple thousand years ago, I would be like, okay, I would be okay with that too. Nothing would be, nothing would be but when people talk to me, I would be like, I'm a Christian. I believe in this. But so that's kind of where I am. I think you're more traditional in your views.
Yes.
Would you like to explain to people just kind of like, because I was raised in a Presbyterian church. We now go to a Methodist church, and we have for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So do you want to mention your upbringing a little bit?
Sure. I was brought up Nazarene. Went to church every Sunday and Wednesday. And I'm not a questioner. Like, it's what I believe. I mean, everyone believes something, but
and I get and I understand that. and
I guess my thing is I don't feel like I would follow a cult. I mean, I feel like I have a brain, but like, this sounds pretty good. I mean, why not?
Right.
I mean, so I'm more, I guess, why wouldn't I want that after I die? If there's something.
Right. But that goes to my whole thing where maybe it was just someone saying, this sounds good.
Right. I mean,
because everyone wants that. And I talked about, so if you haven't listened to my other podcast, you can go back and listen to a little bit of what I say about this on my own, is, you know me, I am horrible at funerals or like celebrations of life when they start talking about how, everyone that passed on before you is going to be waiting at the gates. And I'm like, and I'm shaking my head violently. No, they are not. So if there's a heaven, this is how I relate it. Think of Disney World. If you're going to meet someone at Disney World and you have no idea what time they're going to show up on Saturday, and you show up when it opens, are you going to just stand at the front and wait for them? Or, hey, once you get here, call me and we'll meet up then? I'm not going to stand there and wait at the front. But that's how I always relate it. That's the easiest way for me to think. If there's a heaven, it's going to be so fucking amazing. I'm not going to wait, even if...
Right. I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah. In the passage of time, I mean, it would be not even a nanosecond before the next person would show up on the big scale of time. But I'm just saying, I'm not waiting. And
right. I mean, yeah.
But that sounds good. And see, that's my problem. Like, I don't need things to sound good to me. I need them to sound rational to me.
And okay, so my feeling, I don't feel that strongly. Like, I don't think that, I question a little, like, they'll be waiting at the gates, or I'll know people that I knew. Like, I don't know. Right. I don't know. So it's not that I'm like, yes, I believe that. But I don't know. So like, I feel like heaven is going to be whatever you make it.
So here's the strange thing about me somewhat is I so dissect everything, and I think about how everything can play out. Hey, if I'm in jail and this guy gets too close, and I think about everything. I don't think about heaven. Right. Because I would be so wrong. I've told you I have a picture of heaven. It's me sitting and it's not even it's just my vision. It's just like my point of view. There's none of my animals are there. None of my family's there. And I'm viewing a valley that I have never, to my knowledge, seen before. Just a green valley with, I think, like a river or body of water way off in the distance. That's just, and actually that sounds pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. If that's it, that's it. That's what I mean. I think nobody knows. People have died and come back.
And
until you've seen for yourself, there's no way it's the same.
And so here's the weird thing. So one of the many weird things. So I'm a big proponent in some things, like ancient alien theories and things like. I love watching that. Like people that are possessed. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Now, a friend of yours that you played college basketball with, her sister, and they're a very religious family. Yes. She's in the ministry.
Her brother's a preacher.
Yeah, so they're a very religious family, and one of her sisters was, I believe, the way she described and talked about it. But the weird thing is, like, I watch shows and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, I don't. Right. It's just like I find the information I'm learning interesting, not like, oh my God, that's so real. Right. I think it's more like, oh, this is just interesting. Regardless, I don't really, real or not, I'm just interested in the storytelling that I'm hearing. But then when she told that. Afterwards, I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. And it's because I
Right.
I 100%
Doesn't make
trust
sense.
her story.
Right, yeah.
She was a firsthand witness. It's not like it was like, so, but that's just so, because on TV, it's not real because it's on TV. But when someone's telling you about that in real life,
Right.
like, and not that this happened, I don't remember much of the story. And even if I did, I went, but like, say you went in and like, say you open a door and things were floating around in the room. I don't know. I mean, I've given that some thought. I think I would walk in just because I'd be like, okay, this is cool. Because if I shut the door and then I reopen it and it's not happening anymore, I would have really been pissed. So you walk in. So I don't know. It's just weird. Because because I'd love to talk to someone that had a near-death experience, but then afterwards I'd probably be like,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Because it's not mine. And because that's not how it would have probably played out for me. And once again, I think it's because it's a real story as opposed to, I know it's real on TV, but is it really real if it's on TV? I mean, who knows?
Right.
But I've also said that in our pastors talked about this before, that about blaming, like, I don't give God credit for something happening. I may say thanks to God or to the watcher of the universe or whatever. Hey, like when my car, we thought it blew up a couple weeks ago. We thought we had lost a head gasket, which would have probably prevented us from repairing that car.
Yeah.
And it ended up being like 1/5 the price, maybe even less than that. And it was a radiator and a thermostat.
Right.
And so I did say, I was like, thanks God that but I wasn't giving him credit. Like, I wasn't like, you're the one that made this happen. Because then I would have had to say, hey,
you're the one that made it happen.
Yeah, you're the one that made it. And so but that's how I feel. Because we've talked about this in restaurants. I'm going to use, I forget where we were, Johnny's or something like that here in town. And one of the I think it was a waiter, was one of the people that doesn't write down your order. And we as a family never have because of me, at least because of me, if not more people in our family, we always have, I don't want this, add this, sub this, whatever the case may be. And so when the food came out, they brought the food out and they hadn't brought our appetizer out. And so we just mentioned it and everything, and it's something like, why aren't you upset? You don't seem to be upset with him that he did it. I go, well, I don't, because the rest of the order was right.
Mm-hmm.
That just wasn't
right.
So how do you forget? So that's where I'm like, I don't know where the breakdown. How do we know he didn't really turn it in and the kitchen screwed up? And because if I have someone with 100% accuracy to blame, I will blame them. Doesn't matter who you are, you will get the blame, and I will call you out.
Right.
But if I'm not 100% sure, I'm not going to do that. And that's the same way I feel like when people are, I can't give, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel like you're giving God credit? Like, do you personally think that, how do you see the last part of that question? Who's responsible for sin and evil in the world?
Well, I feel like, my belief is that it all started with Adam and Eve, and sin came into the world because of that.
And that's the thing. They only had one rule to follow.
Right.
One
and there
fucking
was
rule.
none before then. So it had to be that.
Yeah.
If you believe the Bible, which I do, so that's, I don't think God's responsible because God is above Jesus and everyone else.
So this is when, and I talked about this last night, that there are a lot of people that believe that the Bible is basically a human that just sat down, closed their eyes, and wrote, and there's a Bible. I don't believe that. I believe that humans write it, and I talked about it on my other podcast, that I can't tell you. There were a lot of people that impressed me in high school, teacher-wise and stuff. I couldn't give you any credible quotes from them
Right.
or anything. And that's been 40
Right.
years.
Right.
A lot of the Bible, the New Testament, was written 60, 70, 80 years after Jesus. And so I do have some trouble. And even if you start back with Adam and Eve, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I think I know the Bible, but once again, we talk about, you'll ask me, how do you know this? And I don't know. Well, I don't know this, so I could be wrong. But I think, because I mentioned that when Cain kills Abel, that's the correct order, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Cain kills Abel, he doesn't know that's bad.
Right.
Because there's never been a murder before. There's never been a death. So if if they grow up, let's assume that they were humans. So let's say they were actually born as babies. They grow up, they had to have been injured or something at some point.
Right.
And then you recover. Like you may have scratched maybe they didn't scratch. So how would you know, not bashing your brother's head in with a rock, you wouldn't come back from that?
Right. You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. So let's say, because they're like, oh, well, that was, the first murder in the Bible. Actually, it wasn't, because they didn't know. I mean, there was no rule. There was no murder before then.
Right.
But I think that Cain then leaves the Garden of Eden and goes to the next village over and starts a family, and no one talks about that. So am I wrong? So he does that, correct?
Yeah.
So why doesn't anyone talk about that? Why is it Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, but yet there's someone on the other side of the hill? We seem to have left out how did those people come into existence?
Right.
And I'm going to get hung up if you want to go, we're going to be literal about this. We need to talk about that then.
Right.
If you want to gloss over that like they did in Sunday school and every church I've been at ever since, that's fine. I'm cool with that, and I will still go on telling people that I am a Christian, believe in Jesus and all this. But if we want to get too literal, we need to talk about some of the other stuff that's happening in there. So how do you feel? Because we've heard it at church, like sin and evil. Do you? Because see, I don't think of that as to blame. I don't. I
think we were given a brain and we were given the choices.
Yeah. And, and I don't even think of that. I mean, I guess, I think it's further down. I don't think about that. Like if there's a mass shooting and they who the shooter is, I'm thinking less about that and maybe more about how did they acquire their weapon I'm thinking of different things,
right?
Because I think that all people are good and evil. I think most people are fairly close to sinner. They may not be exceptionally good, but they're not too evil as well. Right. And then you have people that are extremely evil, people that are extremely good, and the average is somewhere in between.
Right.
But I don't really think about blame, like sin and evil. I don't assign that.
No.
Just like I don't assign good. I mean, I'm not assigning, oh, well, that happened, so that's good luck. God, thank you very much for that. But like I say, I mentioned it on the other show that I have told you in the past that you don't always like the way I talk to God.
Right.
Which may be an understatement.
Right.
But do you remember what I told you about that?
Yes.
What is that? Let's see if you do remember.
Those are the only conversations I hear. As many times as you talk to them, that way you talk to them good too. Yeah. They're nice.
Yeah. And I told it, when should you be worried? Do you remember?
When you stop yelling at him.
Yeah, when I stop talking to him.
Right.
It is true. I mention it like it's an iceberg, that she'll hear me go, I can't wait to get to heaven because I'm gonna hunt you down, I'm gonna punch you in the face. And I say that about God. Here's the thing. I don't think, so my God doesn't really, so that would be like my kids telling me that. I'd be like, okay, I'm here. Right. I mean, I would be like, I wouldn't be upset. I mean, and that's the thing when people are like, oh, blasphemer, or whatever they want to say. I'm like, if he's really that upset and he's that powerful, he could take, because I think the first 10 years we were married, I would do something and you move away. like just in case there's a bolt of lightning shooting out of the sky. But now you've pretty much heard and seen everything, and you're like, well, if he hasn't struck him down yet. Yeah. He's obviously letting him live for a reason.
Yeah.
But it is that way. I mean, sometimes I will say that because I get frustrated. And the things that I get frustrated about, I'm like, because when I talk to him, I'm like, and some of you that may go, oh, we're Christians. And then you're like, Rodney, it's surprising that you're a Christian. So I understand that because I just understand that. But sometimes I'll say like, you know what, God, you fucking made me like this, so you have to deal with it when I get fucking upset, because I'll be upset about something. Like, I am very, I have to do things in like my wallet, keys, and phone need to be in the same spots all the time. Because if they get moved or I do something with one of them, then I'm going to screw myself and forget my phone or my wallet because that's just how my mind works. So when something happens, like literally a couple days ago, I walked in the front door and I went to the kitchen table and I had something that should have been under my arm. I remember when I got out of the car, I stuck it under my arm and I thought I held it to my arm all the way. I went to it wasn't there. I'm like, crap. I'm looking, it's nowhere on the floor. So I go back out our apartment, out the hallway, out the door to my car, which is in the first parking space, and it's nowhere. And I'm like, I know I just had this. I haven't gone anywhere else. But when I came in, it was on the desk. I hadn't been to my knowledge, I had not been to the desk. And so that's when I get frustrated. Right. Because I'll be like, I haven't even fucking been over at the desk. Right. Which I also talk about how I may or may not travel through universes. Yes. So maybe that has something to do with it, that whatever universe I was in, I hadn't been at the desk. Yeah. But that's generally when I'm having those conversations. Yes. But my God, if there's anything that I say, like I think about my kids, because we always think about, at least in the Christian God, we think of him as a father, a fatherly figure, God our Father. So I try to think, is there anything that my kids could really do that I would just be like, nope, and there isn't. Right. So, and as a father, the more they whine to me about the little shit, the less I want to hear about it. So I would assume that God may be like that sometimes.
Okay.
I don't think you both. Good. So do you think?
That's good thinking.
But I mean, he knows that's how I think. So.
I know.
And I'm still like here for some reason. I don't know why. I do know why. It's to give you this sweet, sweet, good love. Hold on.
Hey-o.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, hold on.
No, we're not supposed to do voices.
Why?
Because then people will stop listening.
No, they won't. Tim said he really liked it.
That's weird.
Well, Tim's weird, so duh. Now that may annoy the people.
Yes.
But I'm going to do it again one more time.
Sounds like gremlins.
So I wonder, as if Catherine would say, if someone just turned into the show.
Turned in.
Yeah. If someone just turned into the broadcast, and I'm like, that's not how podcasts work. Just so you're aware. I accidentally turned into the 30-minute.
Into the 30-minute spot.
Okay. So who do you blame again? What's their name? I need a name for sin and evil in the world.
Sin and evil in the world?
Yeah. Who you're blaming?
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve. Okay.
Oh, and I guess Eve, right? She's the one that ate the apple.
Yeah, but I would really like to know.
He didn't stop her.
So here's the weird thing about me. If time travel was real, if I could pick like just a handful of times to go to, almost all of them are biblical.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why. I would just like to be there in certain times.
Yeah.
Like, and mine are weird.
Sure
So
they are.
probably the weirdest is, so when Jesus was young, he got left in the temple in Jerusalem for like 3 days. Like his family was going back to wherever they lived, and you're walking everywhere. So, and then how you get that far out of town and you realize your kid?
Right.
Ugh. Literally, if he is Jesus, Son of God, and those are his parents, because I know what it's like when I've misplaced a child for a matter of seconds.
Yes.
I know what that's like. So, and I don't know, maybe it was different back then. Maybe people just didn't give a shit, because maybe people just disappeared and there was no cell phone. No one
Right,
called and
I
said, hey,
mean-
we found a body. So, I mean, maybe that was just more common. Shit, we lost that kid.
Right. Well,
Doing-
let's go back and look.
But I do think that would be one of the best. I would just be like,
watching it.
I know. And I don't know why that'd be so fun.
Well, I don't know either, but
Yeah. And I would like to be on the beach when Job gets spit up by the whale.
Yes.
Because I still think that's some like underwater UFO thing.
wasn't that Jonah?
Yeah, Jonah.
Okay.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Jonah. What happened to Job?
I don't know, but Jonah was swallowed by the whale.
Yeah. So Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting swallowed. And I'd be like, okay, first of all, can you shower?
Gross.
Which he couldn't, because it's
I know.
like biblical times, no showers.
Yeah.
So
Just dried off.
Seriously, I mean, I don't want to be in the belly of the whale. So when I say, like, I don't want my time machine to accidentally put me in there with
Inside,
Jonah.
right.
I want it to just be like on the beach.
Right.
Like, I want it to know where he's going to be spit up.
Right.
Because I'm still like, first of all, how are you out far enough in the water that you got swallowed by a whale? And that just really, that's the bet. I mean, just doesn't that, this goes to the stoner part of my
Yeah.
other show,
Yeah.
because we talked about it with Daniel. I talked about how if I came to someone and said, I just spoke to a burning bush, it was God, even if they didn't know me, they would say I was on drugs.
Yeah.
No way. No one is going to
No.
jump to, oh, you must be a
Must be a
prophet or
prophet.
something. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. No one jumps to that now.
No.
Be cool if they did.
Yeah, it would.
But I still would like to. So Jonah and the whale, that would be a good one.
When Jesus was left at the temple.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that the 2 fish and 5 loaves, 2 fish, I don't know, whatever that math was. What I can remember is that there were fish and bread involved.
Correct.
I can't remember but it fed a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
And I have a feeling that there was something more involved. Like, they just keep reaching in their sacks, because we just watched Violent Night.
Yeah.
And at one point, Santa keeps reaching in, and because gifts just keep coming
Yeah.
out. And I just find that's just weird.
Yeah.
And another thing I would like to know about the Bible, since we're going to be since we've talked about this, how come water wasn't good enough? Why was he changing water into wine?
Because that's what the rich people did with money. You drank wine. Sign of royalty.
Or is it, so here's and this is a dumb thought, because my thought was, well, maybe the wine is hygienically, whatever, biologically better for them than what the water would have been at that time.
Maybe.
But if you could change water into wine, why couldn't you just make the water good? Yeah. I mean, so like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting caught up when people are like,
Yes.
oh, nope, the Bible's. And there are some people that say that that the earth is only 8,000 years old, that it only goes back as far as you can go back in the Bible and things like that. I really want to disagree with that. Because I don't think that humans ran around with dinosaurs. Which is really weird, because then if you think about it, that means no one knew dinosaurs existed until like the mid 1800s. Because there weren't bones,
Right,
no one
right.
had found
No one saw 'em yet.
and so no one even knew
Right.
of dinosaurs before then. However, there have been cave paintings of things that look like dinosaurs.
Right.
So then, but how would they know that? So
Yeah.
I don't know. And here's the other thing that I talked about briefly on the website, and I mentioned it earlier or on my podcast, and I mentioned it earlier on this podcast, that if God was to come back and it was an alien,
Yes.
and he spaceship, he flies, he lands and gets out and says, "Hey, what's up? You guys met my dad. I'm Jesus 2, Junior."
No one can see you.
I
by
know.
the way.
Just call me Junior. Oh, you don't like my hands?
I mean,
and
it's
stuff?
fine, but nobody knows.
Well, I'm getting ready for 2023. We're gonna add video, so I'm just getting ready.
Okay,
so, my thing about that is, as much as I love aliens, I would be so pissed off that I missed the last aliens by like 2,000 years. I'm like, so these people that didn't have phones and couldn't even they're like thinking, oh, we can't even describe them flying, so we have to put wings on them so that people in the future will understand that these people flew. Why did they get to talk? Because that would, I would be like, really? I would be mad. And that sounds, I would tell them, I'm not happy. You could have left this more than Ancient Aliens on History Channel to watch.
Right.
And how about if that guy's right?
Well,
I mean, I love them. I
Yeah.
love that show. I mean, you love the theme.
yeah.
Every time you hear the theme, it's lights out for you.
That's right. That's me right
Hold
to
on.
sleep.
No, that's wrong. Nope. There, the crickets.
Yeah.
That put you to sleep.
Yeah.
No, and then it is.
And then it is that Dreamland.
I know. It is so funny. Because literally she will be mid-sentence and I'll turn it on and she just out. It's like I wonder if you've ever been hypnotized to that. Like
Maybe I have.
yeah, your
Don't
friends
say it right now. Don't
No.
sing the tune.
I know if I say his name, Giorgio Tsoukalos. It put me to sleep.
Yeah.
So, or Zach. Okay, so well, we didn't come up with any conclusions.
But that's okay.
What do you think? I know. What do you think about the devil?
I don't.
So this would be a long talk.
Yeah. I mean, what I think is that I don't want to meet him. I know, and you're like, if he was such a good angel, then why is he the devil? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So backing up to that point, what Bobbi just said is, my feeling is it seemed like God and Gabriel. Is that right? Michael, Lucifer. I don't know. No, Gabriel's still there. Whoever, Lucifer. So they were like besties or whatever. And then he got mad, wanted more power, and then he cast. I just don't understand how you go from being like best friends to now you're the ultimate opposite. You're the evil. You are everything that's evil. So sometimes I think that
Yeah.
How about if that's just
Right.
So how about on the other side of the universe? That's where Lucifer actually went to because they're aliens.
Right.
We've already talked about that. So he goes to the other side, and now he's God, and Jesus. God is the bad.
Right.
I mean, so because sometimes there can be stories, and I know that may sound weird, but it just seems weird that. Like if my best friend decided, oh, well, I'm going to try to be the alpha of our group and put them in their it doesn't make one of us the most, oh, you're the most evil person ever. And if I ever wanted to make someone sound bad, well, that person's a fill in the, whatever that name would be. That person's a Joe. And then they're like, oh, man.
Right.
Shoot, man. Yeah, why don't you go live with all the other Joes? Oh, dang.
Yes.
So, anyway. Oh, actually, God is... that would have been funny tonight.
No.
I mean, not funny. Well, I'm still insured for the next few days.
That's true.
That is true. We always look on the glasses half full.
Yeah.
So our family is always glasses half full, generally whiskey, sometimes scotch, but always half full. If not, oh yeah. And there we go. Love you. Glad we made it through Christmas.
You. Me too. We got New Year's coming. New Year.
Yep.
Oh, maybe we should ring in the year on the podcast.
We could do that. Oh, you know what we should do? Should do a live stream.
Yes.
New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Yeah, so no one watches.
You gotta start somewhere.
Maybe some of the people over in Europe.
Oh yeah.
That listen on my other podcast would listen because it would be many hours into the new year.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, they would probably have to wake up like at 6, 7, 8 a.m. on New Year's Day, and no one wants to do that. I would like to know how other people. I mean, I guess the big city. I just don't know. I think Americans like to party. I don't know. I was gonna say more than most, and then I just thought of Oktoberfest, so maybe not.
Yeah.
So, and then
and then Mardi Gras and Carnival and
So I guess there are others that like to party just as hard as us.
Yeah.
Are we doing anything for New Year's?
No.
Every year we talk about it. And we're going to run out of years.
I'm just saying, like.
Not touches.
I'm not paying $100 to go to a place. Nothing's included.
Yeah.
Not even the champagne.
Party favors.
Okay, I can go buy a party favor for less than $200 because it's $100 a head.
If I pay... So what was this head for $100 you just spoke about?
It'd be cheaper. Stay home and I'll give you $100. You give me $100. I don't know how that works.
Hold on. Then don't we just break even?
No, you're just giving me $100. I'm not giving you $100.
Okay. But you're giving me something for the $100?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk everyone out. Bye, peoples. All love that music.
Boop, boop. Thanks for listening.
To the longest one night stand with Bobbi and the Stone Genius. Are you feeling the edible or is it the wine?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel sleepy.
Oh, okay. Bye, people.
Bye.